So allow me to explain where things stand on our journeys through the eras, or journey through the eras. It's really just been one journey. Obviously, we started this in the 80s, no problem. We go to the 90s, no real problem up until we get to 2004, where it simmed the entire offseason on us. That sucked. That was the catalyst for us saying, okay, let's start off in the Kobe era. Unfortunately, through our experiences last night and through further testing today, the Kobe era is either glitched or they fucked it up. There's no nice way to put it. It is incorrect. And what I mean by that is no matter how many different tests I've run with different settings, with different rosters, no matter what happens, you get to the Kobe era, and for the first 2 years, there will be no such thing as team options or player options, and no such thing as RFAs, which obviously is not a thing that was implemented in 2005. It was very much a part of our Jordan era run as well. So it makes me think that there is just something wrong with the programming. I don't know if an answer would be to go through every single goddamn team and update like every goddamn contract. I'm not doing that. But yeah, the Kobe era is flat out wrong. When our experiences last night, we saw it, and I don't want to look at the D-League, G-League teams, whatever the hell. But like an example last night for the Kobe era is that Tony Parker ends up being a UFA, honestly, rather quickly, when he would at least be an RFA and the Spurs would have a chance to match, which they most certainly would. You do not end up with player option, team options, or RFAs until about 2 full years in. And that is because you then have the players selected from the year 1 draft, which would be the 2003 draft. Their contracts are coming due. So it exists, but there's no pre-existing examples of those type of contracts when you start in the Kobe era. And you could just say ignore it for 2 years, but when you have that drastic of movements within the first year or so, it kind of defeats the point of playing the era, because the appeal of the era is the rosters. So where's the appeal of what the era is supposed to be if the right players aren't in the right spot? And yes, it is a mode where the idea is, instead of Michael Jordan going to the Wizards, I'm going to control the Bucks and make sure Michael comes to Milwaukee. The M stands for Milwaukee. Like, I don't fucking know. I tried everything in terms of settings. I tried some custom rosters that are out there. I do actually want to shout out this guy right here. Those rosters are pretty damn good. These ones aren't that bad. This guy's rosters right here are actually pretty good. Has a bunch of the missing players. Takes away the other weird part, of course, of the Kobe era rosters is that you end up with scrub players who are signed to all of the money. Like all of the money. Powell, 3 years, $13 million. Ricky Hill, 4 years, $12 million. $7 million, $6 million for Jop. Like, isn't the most outrageous, but yeah, for whatever reason, the Kobe era rosters and the way it runs for the first 2 years are completely fucked. They're fucked. So we can't run the Kobe era right now and get out of it what I want to get out of it. Like, it's playable, but is it a little bit screwed? Yes. Now, if it's to make teams cap compliant, I mean, maybe. I doubt it in Cleveland's case with how much these guys are making. And if it is to make them cap compliant, 1 year. It doesn't need to be 3 years. It would only need to be 1 year to make them cap compliant for the first year. So I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, man, they totally fucked up the Kobe era. This game's been out for, 2 weeks? A week and a half, 2 weeks at this point? But they totally fucked up the Kobe era. They did. So my only real option, and this was one of my test rosters at the back end, I can delete that. The Kobe era, we're just not going to be able to play through right now. We're just not going to be able to do it. So maybe we come back later in the year once they fix it, if they fix it, and then we run the Kobe era sometime in 2023. But given the fact that FIFA's out a week from today, NHL will be out in a month, yeah, I think we just kind of still mess around in our Jordan era run, which I have right here. And then maybe later on we come back to 2K23 and we go through the Kobe era when they fix it. But right now it's in way too rough of shape for me to recommend it. Hopefully by the time all this like eventually goes to YouTube or whatever, which will be in a couple of weeks, maybe it'll be fixed by then. Here's hoping. But as of September 19th, this stream, the Kobe era to me is a big fat no. So the options are to restart the Jordan era, or we just continue on where we were with the Magic and Timberwolves, and I went to every team, and I got the list of players that were on our teams that are now gone, and we can at least get everybody back that we were supposed to have, and just continue on, because we're technically in the Kobe era. The Charlotte Bobcats exist. You know, we're right where we would have been anyway as of stopping last night. So we're technically in the Kobe era right now. It's just you don't get like Kobe and Shaq still being on the Lakers. Again, weirdly, we discovered like Andrei Kirilenko isn't in the Jordan era rosters, but is on the Kobe era rosters. So for me, I think I would rather start from where we left off with the Magic and Timberwolves, because neither of us ever won. If we can't run the Kobe era, we either restart the Jordan era, which we already experienced most of it. I think we just keep going from where we were. And I think that's the way that we should handle it. But with you guys, your roster was much less affected than mine. You still have your big four players or so. It did have you guys pick up Mo Williams in the draft, and obviously that's the big issue with it, is that we didn't get to control the draft, we didn't get to control free agency. The two big players that you guys lost, and I gotta find him. Galatians, I'd recommend just starting, like, go into the video on demand, starting the stream from the beginning. It's too much of a process to re-explain everything now. You know, the only two guys that you lost were Doliak. I don't even know where the hell he is at this point. He shouldn't be that much further down. I suppose I could have just sorted by alphabetical order, and that would have been easier. But yeah, the only guys that you lost were Michael Doliak. If we take a look at his stats, again, he was on your team last season. You lost Doliak and you lost Jamal Crawford to the Bobcats. So I can turn force trade on and easily just put Jamal Crawford back onto your team, and we can just go as to where we're going. At the same time, could we start a modern era one as well? Yes. At the same time, if we can't run the Kobe era, maybe we run this for a little bit longer, and then if one of us wins soon, LOL, if one of us wins soon, then we still have time to do the current era, you know? Or we could always come back to the current era later on. So that's kind of where I'm stuck right now, is we had this run here in the Jordan era. It's not perfect because of that weird sim glitch. We literally cannot use the Kobe era unless we want it to essentially be a fantasy draft, which I don't. Or we could switch over to a modern era run. But the whole point of this was the different eras. I guess you could say modern era is an era, but that's not really the appeal of it. So I think we just continue with this. I think we do. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And if we keep on with this and discover that this one's screwed too, then who the hell knows? But yeah, let's at least get the teams back to where they were, and we'll see how we feel from there. So like I said, I could be willing to restart the Jordan era to continue this one, or go to modern era. Those are our three options in terms of NBA, which I do still want to play. But it is just a shame that after what was a really strong start for this game, I was having an absolute blast with the 80s era and this Jordan era up until the issue popped up. And now all of a sudden we discover that the Kobe era is a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a shame, really. It is. Definitely puts a bit of a damper on what we had going on. But really quickly then, if we were to get your team properly set up again, And obviously I've set it up so that we can just do whatever trade we have to do without there being the issue. I forgot that I could turn off those rules. You guys could pick up Doliak again, and you might as well, because he's only on a 1-year deal. That's if you have the cap space. Apparently you also drafted a guy named Garrett Strickland. I guess he was on your team last year. I guess. I don't even remember. Oh, that's right. He was, okay, he was a this year pick. Is this guy any good? Yeah, I drafted this guy for you since we couldn't control the last draft. See potential? Might as well keep him in that instance then. But Mr. Webster, good to see you, sir. Thank you for the 26 months on the primer. How the heck are you? Let's get Michael Doliak back onto your team, and never mind, you would be over the cap. See, that's another factor, is you guys were tempted to let go of Penny. And never got the chance. You got Wallace and Battier, who are both hurt. Cedric's there, making some money. Are you guys even going to have the money to bring back these guys? That's the real question. We want to go over to the Bobcats, who would technically be over here, readying the shots for this one, as you should. Danny, I know you would have missed, I think you would have missed the explanation at the start, but oof, this game's taking a turn for the worse. So basically, the decision you would have had to have made this offseason is, do you want to keep Penny Hardaway or not? And I'm sure you would have voted no, because it would have meant that you lost Jamal Crawford. So we can trade Penny for Jamal Crawford. I'm pretty sure that's the direction you guys would have voted to go in free agency anyway. And at least then you do have Mo Williams as a young point guard. You know, not the worst setup in the world. But I'm pretty sure that's the direction you would have gone, is opt out of your deal with Penny Hardaway because of how much he's making. Otherwise, it meant you would have lost Jamal Crawford. I don't know if you want to do that. So any disagreements towards essentially reenacting the idea of dropping Penny Hardaway to keep Jamal Crawford? Or it would have been, well, we're going to lose Jamal, but we keep Penny for one more year. Those are pretty much your two options. So any disagreements with the idea that you would have kept Crawford, I'm pretty sure you would have. I have the trade function back on if people are like, no, keep Penny. But let's just say in this reality, you did elect to just drop Penny Hardaway with your team option. And that way you end up keeping Jamal Crawford. Or not, because then the Bobcats would be over the cap. Jesus. We'll see if we can properly navigate this. How much would they be over by? 4 million? Jesus. Jesus. This has turned into a bit of a mess, hasn't it? It has. You do got this random dude on a 1-year deal. That makes them cap compliant. What's the most you'd have to take back in a deal to stay cap compliant? 1.6 apparently works. What else do we got? Literally anything over $1 million. Will that work? Okay, cool. So yeah, you barely have to take anything back to actually make them compliant. What about Jamie Patton? There you go. In this reality, you dropped Penny Hardaway to keep Jamal Crawford. And the other deal I will make for you guys to get back a player that you didn't get to decide whether or not you wanted to keep or not will be to go over and bring back Michael Doliak on a 1-year deal. And that way, your team is at least going to somewhat resemble what it would have been, should have been, could have been, had you actually had control of the team in free agency. But Vince is still there. Battier, Dirk is your big three. Kind of hoping you guys still actually just win a title in this first season. It would take a lot of the pressure off. For me, my roster got torched. Absolutely torched in terms of what the outlook was for me. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and look through this bad boy so I can actually rebuild my damn team, because I was actually pretty happy with the direction my team was taking when it decided to sim this damn offseason for us. I want that center Hal Geiger back. definitely. You playing offline? Yes. Offline franchise only. It looked like it drafted this dude Damian Westbrook for me. B+ potential. Again, it is just a shame that I didn't get to control, like, oh yeah, Livingston, Westbrook, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Apparently, it also drafted Albert Johnson. I had 3 picks in the first round, and it took nothing but computer-generated players. So that kind of blows. That kind of blows. But Geiger at center. I'll just send them this random dude, Kevin Mullen. I'll actually get my center back, as I never should have lost him in the first place. The other center that it had me lose from the Toronto Raptors was Desanya Jop. But I am not allowed to pick him back up, unfortunately. No way to go back to a different save file? Nope. Because we didn't know that could happen. So yeah, there's nothing I can do about getting back Desanya Jop, but that is what it is, I guess. I at least got the big name back. The other center, there were actually 3 centers I had a chance to keep. He went to the Clippers. That was a Donald Foyle. But given it signed him to a 2-year deal and he's down by 4 points, I don't think I would have kept him. Jamal Mashburn ended up in Miami, but we all know, at least those that were watching, he wanted to leave Minnesota anyway. So the final dude that I want to pick back up, that again, it shouldn't have dropped, is Leandro Barbosa. Which is going to be weird because now I'm going to have way too many guards, but do what we got to do. So that pretty much gets our teams back on track. LeBron went to the Raptors, yes. That pretty much gets our teams back on track to where they were before that weird sim glitch took away our entire offseason. Which again, yes, still very, very frustrated about. But it is what it is. And if we were to continue from here, I honestly think both of our teams are playoff caliber. I do think both of our teams are playoff caliber. I don't necessarily would have wanted Sean Livingston, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's where we're at. So again, the quick recap. This save file glitched in the last offseason, simmed the entire thing. I just went back and got pretty much all the players back for both of our teams that we had no choice and, no say in the matter in terms of whether or not they left or not. The Kobe era in this game at the moment is borked. It's screwed. It's fucked. It's almost borderline unplayable. At least if you care about the rosters not going full fantasy drafts within the first 2 seasons. So our options are to continue this, to go to the modern era, or restart. And like I said, I'm leaning towards just sticking with these 2 teams. Because we can at least replicate the Kobe era. Shout out to 50 and 07, 46 months. Thank you, buddy. What the hell? You got the old blue can, but not a VIP badge? What's up with that shit? What's up with that shit? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your face. So I think, again, we just go for it, right? Because we are essentially in the Kobe era anyway. We're in 2004. Everything still changes. The rosters are obviously a bit different, as in, like, hey, Kobe, and, we're not starting this era with, Kobe and Shaq both on the Lakers, but it's still weird because now Kobe's a Clipper. Shaq is still on the Lakers. Tracy McGrady stayed in Boston. But Tim Duncan's still on the Suns. Steve Nash left Boston to go to Atlanta. Iverson left the Heat to go to Denver. It is an entirely different reality. And of course, my arch rival, Jason Kidd, went to the Boston Celtics. So I think this is what we do. I don't really want to go through all the drafts again to be like, oh, it's the Jason Kidd draft. It's the Vince Carter draft. I think we look ahead to what is the Chris Paul, Deron Williams, Danny Granger, Andrew Bogut draft, I think that's what we do. So we are going to continue on from where I thought we were going to give up. Because again, the Kobe era is absolutely screwed.